It's psychometric as a questionnaire and scoring. So directly going to our research, generally when we start our research, we'll have a set of idea like what we want to research into. Okay, so one of the major step is like planning, and then how you are going to decide on your results. What am I going to gather? How am I going to gather? So there itself it will start, and at that point you will start with your own questions. What will I ask to the whenever I am going to collect data from the, I mean, I am not looking into the steps in the research methodology, so I'm directly into that. So there will be a stage where we will be collecting data from the respondents. You will need to do a small survey, or maybe it can be in a different methods. There are multiple methods of data collection, and everywhere wherever you are, whether it is a direct method, indirect method, interview method, questionnaire method, or whatever the methods that you are, observation methods also that you are using, that need to follow a certain standardization. That's why we are in this currently in this topic. Okay, so it's actually my topic, that psychometric questionnaire actually relies on your method of data collection, which is very much needed for your research purpose. So in that area, the psychometry, that the term if I actually use, is nothing but a questionnaire which collects data. That's all. Which collects data for water. That's what we generally use with survey. Okay, it just collects data. That's all we can say with it, just a questionnaire. Okay, just a questionnaire. And if that questionnaire is collecting data related to anything related to mental health or psychometric assessments, like for example behavior style, personality traits, or any cognitive related assessment like intellectual ability, memory, all these comes under as psychometric questionnaire. Okay, so generally whatever, it's just an instrument. Like for example, suppose if you want to measure a line, how will you measure? Using a ruler, correct? So similarly, if you want to stitch a dress, whatever the measurements that are taken on your dress related, it will be using a tape. Or maybe if you find the distance between Kerala and maybe Palakkad and Coimbatore, you say it in terms of kilometer, you need a measurement. Okay, similarly, it actually that measurement is taken using a scientific instrument generally. So similarly, in our psychological terms, if we use, I need to exactly measure what is your memory capacity, or what is your intellectual ability, what is your level of anger, what is your level of anxiety, or maybe I want to know what is your behavior style, maybe I want to know your personality. Okay, so all this how will I measure? I cannot measure with a standardized, I cannot take a ruler, I cannot take a tape or anything like that. I need a standardized method where if I measure X person's personality, I need to use the same thing for another Y person or another Z person. So you cannot simply ask some questions and get the data. In that aspect, anyone can ask and they can have their own imaginations and get the things done. You should not do that. That's what general survey what we use is, just put up some questions and get the data and find up a result. Please don't do that. Okay, you need to have a questionnaire which should be a scientific one as well as a standardized one. Then only we can call it as a psychometric measurement. Whatever that you are measuring, I mean, initially whenever you plan you will have an idea of what you are going to do. You will have the variable set for your research, and once the variable is set, now how I am going to get the exact measurement for this variable, maybe a personality style, how I am going to get this. Okay, I will ask certain questions related to that. Okay, well and good, put it aside. Now make that as a standardized one. How? That's the next question. That's what we are going to discuss here. How we are going to make it as a very standardized one, which is like a scientific instrument. Just like how we are very sure that a small ruler can help you with 1 inch, 2 inch, whatever the inches, or maybe the distance between you and the place where you are and the place where you are going. You can have everything in a standardized format. Correct? You will use a Google and you will search and you will get in terms of kilometer. Google or whatever you search, it will be the same kilometers that you are getting. Correct? It will be in a standardized format. Similarly, our test also will be in a standardized format. For that, we need any questionnaire that we develop. You cannot just like that put some question and ask the respondent to respond for that. You need to look into the four things in this. One is the standardization of whatever the questions that you are posing up. How to make it standardized. We'll come into that. And another thing is how much I can rely on this. Is it reliable? Okay, that's the score. Suppose if you have a weighing machine. Today you are taking your weight. Suppose if it shows 60 kg. Tomorrow you are getting into the same weighing machine. If it shows 70 kg, you will doubt yourself, or maybe 62 kg at least. Am I so much? Within a day I got 2 kgs. Maybe on another day again you are checking yourself, and if it gives you 72 kgs, definitely something is wrong with the instrument is what you are going to say, because you know that your weight is not going to change within this short span of time. So whenever you measure, however you measure, it should give you the same result or similar results, or maybe we can call it as a relatively same. That's what we say with a reliability. We'll come into the detail of that. And again, it should be valid. Okay, the one instrument if shows 70 kg, another instrument if shows 80 kg, another instrument if shows 72 kg. So do you trust that instruments? No, not necessary. So something is wrong. So we have to see where we went wrong. So we need to look at the validity of it. Okay, and also how to form a norm, how to do a standardization, especially with the when we are using these questions. Even though it is just questions that we ask to get the result from the respondents, that has to follow certain norms as per the respondent that we choose. Okay, so these are the key components of any psychometric questionnaire that we develop. Or else, in other terms, if even if we are not developing, if we are supposed to use a questionnaire, okay, imagine that you have got a multiple questionnaire for personality test. Okay, right from, if I say it as a subjective test, objective test, or projective test, you have the Rorschach test. Generally we will use as a personality test, projective personality test. Or maybe if we have big 5 personality test is available, which generally we use for getting the idea of what is their personality. But we have to look into one key and most important thing is whether that test article is or that questionnaire is standardized, whether there is a reliability value will be there. Reliability value has to be there. Okay, as a researcher, if you go to, if I'll talk on the aspect of PhD articles, whatever the questionnaire that we generally use to write the reliability coefficient is this much. It agrees to the validity like this. Then only that research is approved. That questionnaire is taken to consideration right in the first meeting itself. Like we used to have the doctoral committee before deciding the PhD thesis. So right from the DC meet, the first initial DC meet itself, we need to confirm what questionnaire we are using, what is the reliability value, and what is the validity that we are seeing, what is the norms of it, what are the norms of it. We have to clearly mention in our thesis, and we have to decide right in the first doctoral committee itself. This is general rule followed by a PhD scholar. So if we do the same process right from our whatever the simple research that we carry out, it will not be a big deal when we move on higher level. So whatever the questionnaire that you are right now using for a small research, that is, check whether that is standardized. They will be writing in the manual itself, they will be writing what is the standardization, what is the value, what is the validity that they have measured, all these things. So for the questionnaire that is already created, you need to check it. Also make sure that if this year is to 2026, so don't go and take a questionnaire which is already done. Maybe if I take an bell adjustment inventory is a common one that generally people use to understand what is the adjustment level of students or your respondents. Okay, but please check the year when it was developed. Okay, considering those factors, see, we don't use a thing which is it has passed it date, correct? Expiry date is there. Though we don't have an expiry date for this one, what we need to check is that at least or 5 years before, maximum of 10 years before, check whether that is created or developed during that period. Okay, you couldn't find anything, no problem. Take the older one itself and then apply it to a pilot group, and then you standardize it in your own way and then use it for your research rather than directly using to your research. So, existing whatever the standardized questionnaire that you are using, if it is beyond a 10 years, don't use it directly for your research. Instead, use it on a pilot group, and with that pilot group data, standardize the results and standardize and find out the reliable validity again, and then use it for your research. This is the model that generally we used to say, and we used to do it for our research purpose. Otherwise, that would have developed long before, maybe very long. Bell adjustment in the inventory and all very long. It's standardized during those time. But the era has changed, things has changed, technology has changed, and the people way that the new generation or the people how they look into, how they perceive, everything has changed. So don't use the same thing to measure the adjustment. It varies. It's not about adjustment scale, it's about almost all the scale that we use, which was previous. Maybe 5 years, 10 years, you can have it, not more than that. Okay, so that is about existing questionnaire, psychometric questionnaire. Now coming about our psychometric questionnaire that we are going to develop. Now let me go into the first one. See, initially we look into the what is our objective of the research, and then we will start developing like what and all questions I need to look into, right? Decide what and all what is my aim or objective of my research, and if I want to achieve this objective, what is the variable that what and all the variables that I need to look into. Okay, well and good. Now what is the next step? Okay, I need to get the anger level, or maybe I need to get the anxiety level of the students. To maybe if you are doing a research related to anxiety of the students when using the mobile or something like that. Okay, if your research idea is the variable that you choose is maybe if it is anxiety, please decide the question which help you to measure anxiety. Don't ask directly, do you feel anxious? Do you feel like this? Please don't. I will set you how to develop the questions. But decide what questions will be needed to measure your variables, and so that it can reach the objective. It can attain, or it can be in a level where it will help you to reach the objective that you are intending to. Okay, please take, imagine if I'm developing, generally what we used to do is we will just write it down, maybe 100 question, 200 questions, like that we use just for one item, one variable. We used to write all these 100 200 questions, and reading it again and again and again, we will add and drop or change these things first by the researcher. Okay, so you will start developing in such a way that initially pick up whatever the question that you feel okay, and put all the questions considering the variables that you are chosen, and then sit down, read it again, and you can add or drop or change anything. Okay, so within, imagine you have taken 250 questions, and in that questions you have come up with finally 100 questions. Now, do your questionnaire will have 100 questions? Not at all. Okay, don't come to a conclusion that I just need to measure an anxiety. Why do I need 100 questions? You don't need 100 questions, but the starting point will be like that. Okay, so what is the next step that I need to do is, okay, you have from initially you started with 250 questions, you read and read and read, and somehow you have come into a conclusion of, okay, this 100 questions defines my variable of anxiety. Now I need, how I need to move into next step. Okay, so initially how we will be developing something like simple, clear. You need to very much detail your question in such a way that it should be simple one, easy to read, clear, short question, as well as there is no ambiguity. Okay, as well as it should not be a vague and should not give the person a vague answer, or the respondent should not be, okay, this is fine, or maybe he should not be doubtful in that. And another method is that make it as short as possible, that it should be in a single line, not even two lines. It should not go into two lines. So these are the I mean, keep on saying these things. I will make the what and all should be there, should not be there, I will introduce you to you. So how to formulate the question is one of the most important thing, where we say that these are some rules. Okay, some general rules which we need to follow is, see, be more specific. Okay, understand to whom you are going to ask the question, your target audience or the respondent, and what is the answer that you are expecting. Okay, keep it in mind. Don't expect, you don't have to calculate on the answers, but at least you can guess that. Okay, and in with that idea, okay, so I need to give it more specific. Don't ask a general question. Very accurate and simpler interpretation need to be there. So please be specific. So from the 100 questions that we created, when we come into this 100 may come down into 80. Okay, when we go into this concept of more precise and more specific questions. Now, next question is, the way that you have written is very important. Okay, it should be technical, but at the same time, you need to use those slang that is used by the respondents in that particular area. So imagine that you are going to give to the students. Okay, students. Again, students means which students? That's a big question, because the students can be primary, secondary, or maybe higher level, or maybe UG level, PG level, or scholars. So it varies. So use those slang, that technical abbreviation, that language that you use. Or maybe if I go for a like job satisfaction scale, when I develop a satisfaction scale, please come into make sure that whatever the questions that you are asking is appropriate to that level of employees. Okay, employees, again, that is categorized. Okay, or maybe work experience, if you ask, you need to look at to whom you are asking, how to ask for that. Okay, so please use those appropriate language when you are developing. So that is another major thing that you need to look into. Then comes see, don't when I need to give you an answer, I should not make myself complicate. Okay, if I when it happened, when did you receive your first salary, what did you do with your first salary, those things if you ask, I cannot give you an exact answer, I can give you a rough idea only. So it may lead you to, if you make the respondent to recall whatever that was there in the past, so very past. Okay, or maybe not exact the date, time, all those things, it will be very difficult for them. Okay, so make sure that the respondent should be able to answer easily. Okay, so you need to get the information, maybe after the initial level of questionnaire answering, if you want to get more detail, you know, you need to frame it more appropriate. Okay, you can go deeper, but please make it shorter and more appropriate. Don't need to recall the past details and all. And don't assume anything. This is very, very important. Whenever individuals are very, very different, and their imagination level are too way. I mean, everyone has their own imagination. It will be very difficult to answer questions on imaginary situation. Okay, imagine if you are the leader of this team, what will you do? What will be your attitude? If a question like this is asked, you may not get the appropriate answer, because what happens is that everybody's imagination is different, and different in the sense, a person's imagination or the thought process depends on their age, their experience, so many things. Okay, it's a cognitive process, and when you get into that situation, answer may be given, but you cannot trust that answer. If you ask the same question after half an hour, you will give a different answer. Okay, so don't put hypothetical questions in your questionnaire. It may lead you to your uncertainty in the way that you get the results. The same person, even you yourself, if you try, if I ask you now some question, hypothetical question, imagine what will you do after 10 years? You may give an answer today. In one mood, you may give me a one answer. Another mood, half an hour after that, you may give another answer. Depends. Okay, it varies. You cannot trust it. Okay, so avoid that. Another thing that you need to avoid is biased or leading questions. Biased in the sense that how you have worded that questions. Like, for example, it should not involve any emotional content, or related to the social status, color, or maybe related to our like what you call body posture, or something related to body image, or maybe something related to their family settings, or those things. They should not feel that at that whenever they do the questionnaire. There are situations when they will avoid that question because I'm not able to, I don't have. Do you have a boyfriend? Simple question. Or a girlfriend? That's a question. Okay, so if such a question is done, I don't have, then how will I write that? This is easiest way. But many persons, some may get into an emotional attachment to it, and may give you a wrong, or leading to a wrong answer response from them. So avoid those things. Or maybe you if you are you developing a questionnaire related to a particular community, maybe a, for example, tribal community, or maybe some particular community, or some areas where their social status is highlighted, or something is more you have used, they may feel that is biased. Why they are asking this question to me? Why can't they ask this question to the other group? Why they are asking to me alone? So please avoid biased or leading questions. Okay, and another is that the length, as I said, it should be limited within one line, please, and make sure that generally we used to say 20 words or within a line. Please do that. When you print that, that should be within a line. Don't go for 2 lines. Another is, don't mix first question and the second question, or maybe the previous question. Don't associate that. Okay, refer to question number 12, and based on that, how will you answer this one? There are multiple questions like questionnaire like that, but it can lead you to a wrong response. Okay, so what we generally do is not to associate with previous one. Okay, so as I asked in the questionnaire 12, and then talk about the questionnaire 13, you please avoid this. They would not have understood. Okay, many cannot understood the way that you link. You have an idea, okay, well and good, but you cannot expect everybody to understand that idea and make you respond based on that. Also, see, whenever you use periods in your reference period, it should be clear and shorter. See, during the earthquake or landslide of this time, what were you doing? Do you remember the landslide time? And after 10 years after that, what is like that? If you ask, they have to think. I told you, not allow them to, don't allow them to think or go back to the past things. Or maybe if I ask you, what happened after your school day, 12th exam, there was a gap now. What were you doing during that time? Even if we ask me, I can't even remember every minute details. Or how many times did you go to your native place or something like that during your school holidays? I can't remember that. Okay, so use reference period within shorter one. Don't go for longer reference periods, or that relapse errors can lead to your problems, to your research and the respondents response also. Okay, so avoid that. And another major thing to avoid is your calculation aspects. Okay, generally when you ask income aspect, age aspect, okay, they cannot, don't expect them to, even though for you it is, what is the big deal, it is a simple calculation, can't you calculate from your birth date? No, very sorry, don't expect your response to be so good. Okay, they may face difficulty, even if it is simple, very simple for you, it will lead to wrong response or error in your research. So if, for example, what percentage of your income is spent on treatment? If you ask is, how do I calculate percent? What is income? Which income to be added? So many questions will come up into their mind. Please avoid this. Instead, directly ask, what is your monthly income? One question. After that, how much do you spend in your treatment, for your treatment? Like that, if you go step by step, you will get an easiest answer, easiest response. So don't give calculation strain to respondents. Many times this happens related to your academic performance or age related calculations or job related monthly expense or budget related, all these things. Many times this can happen. So please avoid those questions which will have calculations in that. Try to avoid that. Okay. And another is double barreled or double negative questions, because there are conditions like it should be in one line, you should not ask too much questions. So what we generally do is we will put it in such a way that one question itself has two answers. Okay, you will unite all those things. See, that two negatives actually becomes positives, correct? So for example, don't you want to move from this place not to expose yourself? There are two questions. Okay, you can make it more simple. And moreover, always use positive one, direct positive questions, no negative questions. So you have to state it in another way, like, do you want to move from this place to hide? Easiest one, not to expose yourself. And all those double negative actually gives positive meaning. We agree, like. But what happens is, as an observer who doesn't read, or as a respondent, when they read, they initially feel that, oh, this is a kind of negative. So they will concentrate on that and answer immediately. Please avoid that. And always make sure that your questionnaire contains positive terms, not negative terms. And another is, don't mix up, this is what I said previously, don't mix up two questions in one question, two in one. When did you visit your family, and how many nights did you spend there? And avoid that, make it as two questions itself. Okay, it should be simple, as I said, make it as simple rather than complicated multiple line questions and all. Please avoid that. Not necessary, you don't have to. You, whatever you are clear, very sharp, precisely what you want to get, you will get when you put it in simple terms. So don't add two questions in one complete sentence. Please avoid it. Another one is embarrassing questions, offensive questions. Say offensive questions like for yeah, I have posted there like an example. Do you agree that HIV positive have the rights to marry? Or suppose, imagine you are suffering from HIV positive, you have the right to marry. I will be in an embarrassed situation if I really have. You don't know, if somewhere in my corner of my mind I have my own feeling, I will be in a embarrassed situation where I have something in my mind, I may respond wrongly. So please provide answer in such a way that positive or negative tone of the question itself should be avoided. You should give very clear clarity in such a way that people don't get offended with whatever that you ask. So leading or embarrassing questions should be avoided. So these are the common thing. I mean, if you refer any book, we generally look into these things. So from our initially we started with 250 reduced to 100. So from the 100, if you look into all these methods of putting up the questions, somewhere we will come into 70 questions. Okay, so please look at all this structure and then frame your question. So our questions will get reduced, and somewhere we will come up with okay, 70 questions. Now what is the next step? I hope you are able to follow. I'm not boring you all.
It's wonderful. It's going wonderful, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Thank you. So I'm moving to the next. Like that, see, I have put up few important one only. Every reference book that you refer will help you to move exactly the one. But these are the basics that I have put into. Now moving on to the next one is the how you need to put up the questions in the questionnaire. Next one. Okay, that should be more informant friendly, we call it as. What is this informant friendly? In the sense general nature to more simple. Okay, it should be a funnel approach. There are multiple approaches we call it as a funnel approach. That is, it should be smooth, easy and smooth, as a, that will make you more interesting. See, whenever we do anything in your day to day life or in your personal life, you will start with easiest one. Rare are there who will start with the difficult one, but easiest one is what we generally start off with. So easy and smooth should be the items to be arranged in the questionnaire. Okay, that is a method, and slowly move on to the complex one. Very slowly, step by step, you need to grow. So what we need to do, put up question, simple, easiest one, so they will keep on, okay, easy, and slowly it should be gone. Okay, this is what we call it as funnel approach. And generally we need to make sure this is there in any questionnaire. Another thing I missed is like, generally one more step here is, before sequencing we also look into categorization of the questions in the questionnaire. We call it as a dimensions in the questionnaire. Okay, similar or whenever you decide your variable, after that how you are going to make your variable as different one. For example, if you take a emotional intelligence questionnaire, it has got 4 different dimensions. Okay, that is interpersonal, intrapersonal, all those things. So in that similarly, if we want to assess some particular maybe anxiety, if you are looking into, you can have all those dimensions also. So if you put your questions in particular, the question should relate to one dimension, you need to group it. Okay, before sequencing the question, just before that, group the questions. Initially you started gathering the questions, arranging the question on various aspect, and then group the questions if you have dimensions. If you have dimensions, not all the questions will have dimensions. It depends on your research. It purely depends on your research. Once you have grouped based on your dimensions, how to sequence that is the next step. That follows the easy and smooth progress should be maintained for the questions to be asked, even if it is dimension based. Okay, now This step is over. Now we'll pause a minute. Now, what and all questions you will be phrasing, how you will be phrasing is up to you. You can phrase it as a open-ended question or a closed questions. Of course, we all know what is an open-ended question and what is it is purely dependent on the respondent how to respond. You just have to. Is there anything else you would like to say? Please describe how you saw the situation, how you perceive the situation, or how you teach children in your place, or maybe how you gather, how you start your day. All these things, it can have multiple answers. It can have multiple answers. So it is purely an open-ended question. But analyzing this or doing a data analysis of this type of question is very, very difficult. I'll let you know how to do that after some time. Now, the next one that we generally use is closed-ended question. It is very easy. Closed-ended question, how old are you? It should be within this limit. You cannot go beyond this, correct? So it is a closed one. You have to limit, the respondent is limited within this 5 option. He cannot have any other option. So that is where we say it as a closed-ended question. So in an open-ended question, generally we used to, in the research, we have the qualitative and quantitative research methods, right? So generally in the qualitative data, when we are asking, generally in that aspect, we will have the open-ended questions. Okay, especially information gathering or qualifying something. Next, what you would like to, how you will like to improve yourself. Or example related to landslide, if you are asking, okay, what is a measure that you have taken in future, or how you are going to do anything for the climate change, anything. That is next action that you can have is an open-ended question will be more appropriate. Okay, and another one, easy in this is, many persons ready to go for qualitative is because it is up to you to ask the question, but that also has to be written. The same question has to be asked to multiple person. So it help you to establish a rapport. Open-ended questions, because when there are people who would like to talk, burst up. Okay, we call it as burst up. So that rapport building, bursting up, opening up, all this happens generally with open-ended question. So if you have a research which is very much qualitative and you want to get exactly the emotions that they are going through, it's better to use open-ended questions. So identify the research that you are doing and how you are going to get the information related to the variable that you have decided. Please use qualitative open-ended questions, but analyzing, it's a difficult task that you need to be very much confident on that. Then only you can move to the next level. We'll let you know how to do that. Okay, whereas closed-ended question is very easy. It can be single choice or multi-select also. It is pre-decided. Okay, like for example, we generally used this Likert scale. I hope all of you know that Likert scale, from a slightly disagree to strongly disagree to strongly agree choices we used to give. You can have questions like that, or you can have a multiple choice options, drop down options like this, or even you can have a ranking aspect, like which one should be higher priority. You can ask them to choose that rank order based higher prioritized one. We can have that questionnaire in this aspect, or you can have questionnaires based on rating scale. Just like ranking scale, you can have rating scale also. It's up to you how you want them to answer. But keep in mind this thing. See, that common mistakes that we used to do is, your viewpoint of things is different, but the respondents varies. If you have asked a question like, what was the first drink that you had today? You have given the option tea, coffee, water, juice. Why I can't have my boost today? Why I can be and not necessarily that I need to have a drink today. Not I don't need to have a drink today. Okay, so you would not have given the last two option. You would have given only the first four answer, because you believe that somebody would have something or other in the morning. So you would have they would have at least tea, coffee, or nothing but water they would have. In that aspect you would have prepared your questionnaire. Please avoid that. Okay, give options in different way that you can cover everything. That is common mistake that we used to do. Another common mistake that everywhere we can see is this one. Okay, so 18th comes in. If you make your questionnaire in the first way, 18 comes in the first category or second category. It is up to you. You would have in your mind kept at 0 to 17 only. I take 18 in the next one. So it will goes like that. Why can't people understand this? Very sorry, they cannot understand it. So be precise. Okay. You have to be precise in saying 18 or 19 or where it starts, what it includes, how it is. Just by saying like this, it is done. You don't have to complicate it. Okay, and I took this as an example for age, but this happens for many cases, not only for age, marks, categories, so many things, common mistakes that we used to do. And whenever we are collecting data, the most important data is demographic data. Demographic data is gender, age, income, education level, beliefs, their customs, all those things. Those are demographic data, we call that. That is very, very, very important for any kind of questions, any kind of research that you take it up. Because the final result need to be given based on the demography. Okay, please, whether it is gender aspect, whether it is age aspect, whether it is income, education level, whatever it is, that demographic data is very, very, very important. And this is either put it in the beginning of the questionnaire or end of the questionnaire where they don't miss it. And it should be framed very easily, just like anywhere initially and all in the school days and all. We used to write, whenever we get a book, we used to write our name and then standard, all those things. See, please follow the same concept in any questionnaire. Make sure that demographic data is taken properly. All our research conclusion need to include the demographic based output also. Research result based on demographic data. So these are the way that we used to put up our question and the response. Okay, up to this is fine, I think. Now the most important part of your questionnaire is assessing the quality of your questionnaire. How will you assess the quality of the questionnaire? See, whatever that you use in your day-to-day life, you will check the quality, na? Whatever, whether it is a small pen, when you purchase a pen, you will try to write it down. Check whether it is good quality, whether it is smooth, what is a brand, XYZ, all these things you will look into. Yes, please, even if you develop your own questionnaire, please check the quality. How to check the quality? Yes, here is the quality. First and foremost thing to look into is, we need to look into the validity as well as reliability. Validity means, if I am measuring anxiety, the questions that I have framed is related to anxiety, not related to stress. Please very sure of that. When you read it, the respondent should not be confused that is this a question of anxiety or is it question related to stress. They should not get this confusion. Okay, what it is intended to measure, it should measure. So the question should be framed accordingly. First point. Second point, that if I use this, I told you previously, when you have a weighing scale, if you weigh today as 70 kg and tomorrow if you measure the same weighing instrument, the same you, and if it shows even 72 kgs, you are confused. No, this instrument is wrong. Yes, please, your questionnaire also. If you analyze my personality today as X and tomorrow it is not X, it is X point something, definitely there is something wrong with your questionnaire. It should be reliable. So major behavioral measure or the quality indicator of any psychometric questionnaire is the validity and the reliability. Okay, how to do that? How, what and all is there? See, reliability can be based on the stability, equivalence, internal consistency, we call it. We look into all these things just a moment. Whereas validity is the content, criteria, construct, and all those. When you go to research methodology topic, we have a detailed structure of all these things. I'm not taking that much. We'll just have a basics of how to do that. Coming into content validity, validity is whether the instrument is measuring what it is supposed to measure. For example, a pain assessment tool should measure the intensity of the pain rather than your fear, anxiety, or stress related to pain. Okay, so how will you do that? For that, you have to look at the content, criteria, or construct validity. You can use any of this method, or you can use the sum of this method also. For example, content validity means, see, you read each and every questions one by one. Read it. Okay. Nearby people, you ask them, read this. Tell me what you understand from this. Give it to your friends, or give it to a nearby person, unknown person. Don't tell them anything. Read it, ma. Let me know what you feel. Ask few people informally. When they say, yeah, this seems to be measuring the pain level, not anxiety, yeah? Yeah. So that is what is called as face validity. Okay? That is confirm from few people whether they can understand from the question that it is measuring what it is intended to measure. Pain related scale is having question on it related to pain, not related to stress or anxiety. Just ask very informally to your friends or nearby people, whoever is there, or colleagues or anyone, without telling them anything formally. That is face validity 1. Second thing, you need to compare with previous studies questions. Whenever you are doing any research, the literature is very, very, very important. So look at your questions and then compare with the literature already that is there in the existing questionnaires. All those things, you just compare it. Okay, they meant in this way, so if I mean in this way, do that reflect the same? That is first thing, that you need to give it an idea compared to which you have compared, what and all the literature that you have compared. You need to note it down properly. So exploring the literature, previous study, similar questionnaire, that is one thing. Asking your friends, colleagues, all those things informally is the next method, which gives you a face validity. Not enough. Next thing, more important is the ask the expert in the field. Who are the experts? You don't know. Okay. No, it's not like that. See, if you are asking some experts means, give those who are very much related to maybe pain management. If you are asking for, give those who used to do the pain management. Who are they? Maybe give it to a physiotherapist. Okay, give it to an expert who understands this. Give it to any doctors. Give it to anyone who understand this idea. If I ask question like this, will they be able to get what I intended to ask them? Is it correct? Just ask experts. And when you ask the expert, whatever their response, that also need to be collected. Please, that is a separate one. And from that data, you need to ask them to rate it. Okay, give them a rating. For example, imagine if I take Ranjita as an example, is developing a scale on pain management. If she gives me that pain, ma'am, I have put this much question, I put a 30 questions for this questionnaire, ma'am, can you evaluate each questions? If she gives me, how will I evaluate? She will tell me that, ma'am, if it is very good, give a 5 point. If it is very bad, give a 1 point. Rating scale she has to give me. So within that 30 questions, I will rate it as 5, 4, 3, whatever I feel. Okay, relevant, not so relevant. I will make sure how it is, and then I will return back to her. So this is from me that she has collected. Similarly, she need to collect it from multiple persons. Minimum 5 members is needed. Minimum. Okay, and you can have multiple 5, not 500, and also you can have, but minimum is 5 experts in that area is needed. When she receives that, she cannot take it just like that. She need to understand the validity index. What is this validity index? How, for question number 1, how many persons have given 5 or 1 or 4 or 3, or how much they have rated it? She has to identify and give an index rating for that. And once only one those questions which has got better, at least an average index should be taken to the next level. So she need to find it to the content validity index, and then only it will be taken to the next level, those questions. Okay, so if I design from 75, next stage it will reduce to maybe 50. Maybe 50. When I do the content validity, it will come down. Okay, so this is very, very important in designing the questionnaire. First and foremost thing, face validity. Second thing is content validity, and you need to get the content validity index is very important. Where how you will generate it? From the expert, you will have a rating scale. From the rating scale, whichever is the highest rating scale, that will be indicated more compared to the lower one. That's all. Okay, so I hope content validity is fine. Now coming into next validity that we need to look into is criterion validity. Okay, what is this criterion validity? See, what happens is, now I have developed a scale like pain management. Okay, good, well and good. That I name it as, for example, Ranjita has developed. I name it as Ranjita pain management scale. Okay, good. Give it to a set of or 30 people, participants. You just trial it. Okay, you collect the data. Done. There will be already so many pain management tools, correct? Take that one of the tool from the literature. Take one of the tool, give them to the same set of people, same set of participants. You give the same tool, ask them to fill it off. Okay, now you got the pain management skill tool developed by Ranjita as well as existing pain management tool. For both of this, you got the data. Get the do the analysis. Whatever the pain management pain level of pain management that is getting from Ranjita scales as well as existing scales, just try to correlate it. Is there a significant correlation? Well, good. Ranjita's is acceptable. Is there no such thing where it deviates? How much it deviates? Why? You have to find out. Correct it. Come back again. Okay, so that is what is called criterion validity. That is, when your tool is compared with the existing tool, both has to come, somewhere it has to correlate. Not exactly 100% correlation should be there, but at least a significant level of correlation should be there between the existing tool and the newly developed tool. Then only the newly developed tool is valid. This is what you call it as criterion validity. Okay, so first level we will go with content validity, second level we will go with the criterion validity. Okay, good. Next, what should we do? Okay, everything is fine. So next is we need to go with the construct validity. What is this construct validity? Construct validity, see, imagine you are saying as pain management methods or pain management tool that you have developed. Okay, full done. There will be some theory behind pain management. Yes or no? That pain management theory is being satisfied with your skill. Is it satisfied? Does it observe, or does it really agrees to what is there in the reality, what is there in the theory? Imagine a person having pain management methods, assessment tool, or pain related tools. They need to have the pain first thing, and it should be for not for a smaller period of time. It should have a proper period of time, which is a valid period of time. Okay, or else I will say in a different way. For example, if you say a person is, you are measuring a scale related to anxiety, a person having anxiety need to have a sweaty palms. Okay, not necessarily sweaty palms, sometimes can have a sweat, or sometimes can show fear in their eyes or in their cheeks, or somewhere that has to be observed, that can be observed, that can be taken into consideration from the physical or functional or any methods, if you concentrate. So if that instrument is able to bring it out, then that is called as constructive validity. For example, if I take it, I'll say with an example of intelligence, we have developed a new tool. Okay, and we use that to measure the intelligence of PhD researchers who have got admission to PhD. Okay, students who have got admission to PhD, we took the intelligence of those people. One, we also took the intelligence of students who were unable to get the PhD admissions. Okay, and through our instrument, if we get a result as there is no difference in the level of intelligence among the students who fail to get PhD admission and those who get the PhD admissions, means there is something wrong with your tool. Okay, that is what construct validity says. Okay, so it did not measure what it theoretically says, or maybe a person having intelligence who is able to crack a particular exam. For example, if you take the entrance exam related to students who are cracking NEET, okay, the intelligence, the measure that you got it for those, as well as those who haven't even attempted that, or maybe some special coaching that they are having with those students and those who do not have that coaching at all. There should be some difference, then only your questionnaire is valid. Okay, of course there are multiple debates on this aspect, but this is actually what is called constructive validity. Now, everyone will have a question right now. Do my instrument has to pass through all this validity? Means no. This is a standardized method to follow. Your questionnaire not necessarily have to pass through all the methods. Any two methods is fine. Any two methods is very, very okay. Or even some cases, single method is also okay. So validity should be there. Either it can be a content validity, it can be a face validity. Face validity includes along with content validity, criterion validity, or construct validity. It can be any one or two of that is enough for your questionnaire. You don't have to struggle for all those six. It has to satisfy X, Y, Z. No. It has to satisfy either X or Y or Z, or X, Y or Y, Z. Anything is your interest. It depends on the real use of your questionnaire. So this is how validity is being measured. Sorry, I'm taking time, 10 minutes more. Next most important standardization method that we follow is the reliability. Reliability is even after repeated trials, you need to get the same answer. Your weight should not increase or decrease the next day, or maybe within 2 days. Your weight is not going to change. You also know that. So, something should not be wrong with the instrument. So, how we will check with this is first and foremost thing, stability. What is a stability? That means if you are using the questionnaire first time, okay, today morning you checked the weight, good, 70 kg. Tomorrow morning you check the instrument, 71 kg, I doubt. Okay, there are maybe something wrong with the instrument, or maybe something is wrong. I would have stand in a wrong way, XYZ, you consoled yourself. But after 1 week you check again, it is 72 kg. Within 1 week, I grow up as 72 kg. Very sorry, no. So, maybe 70.1, 70.2 is fine. Or maybe 69 point something is fine. But not a drastic change should be there. That is what is called as a stability. Repeated testing using the same tool with the same individuals, the same participants should need to give you the same result. Or I don't say same result, similar result, not big gap. That is called as test retest reliability. Okay, test retest means if you administer the tools to the same subject in two different timeline or time period, that need to give you the same set or similar results, then your questionnaire is okay, this is valid, this is stable, you can use this. Fine, this is there for everything, na. Well, imagine you are buying a small from the market 1 kg of banana, and you come home and tomorrow, no, I bought 1 kg, but it is only 800. You don't trust it. You will wait it again. It is 500. No, something is wrong. First you will blame the market person. Then if keep on changing in your, then you will blame your instrument. That's how your instrument is wrong. So please make sure that it is correct using test, retest, reliability. Done. Next one is, we use another method is equivalence. Same results can be achieved by two or more researchers at the same tool. I am using it, okay, on a set of population. Another person is also using a set of the same tool with a set of population. And if you correlate both the things, and if you are okay, if you are getting a correlation, good. That means your measurement is, your tool is well and good in measuring things. That is equivalence. Equivalence, the same results will be achieved by two or more researchers using the same tool. Imagine how you will get satisfied. You bought a 1 kg of banana from the market, and you feel that it is not exactly 1 kg, I feel, and you kept it in the kitchen. Fine. After some time, maybe by the end of the day, your mother is bringing 1 kg of banana, and she is also placing it near the kitchen. After some time, hey, this is also 4 bananas, this is also, mine is also 4 bananas, okay, so that's all, 1 kg only 4 bananas will come. You'll feel satisfied. Yes, because both are same, na. Your 1 kg and her 1 kg are same. You feel you are getting the same result. That is equivalence. Okay, the instrument that you won't blame the market person. You won't blame. Maybe that is how nowadays only Nalibalana is weighing in the weighing machine. So equivalence should be achieved with with your instrument, not only for you. Give it to another researcher. He also gives the same. The subjects can be differ. Okay, he also gives the same result. Well and good that you have understood the equivalence using inter-rater reliability method, that we call it technically. Okay, so this is the next one, and the most usually uses internal consistency. Internal consistency means if there are we came across 50 questions finally. The within that items itself, we will check whether there is the homogeneity, and as well as whether there is the consistency is maintained within the same questionnaire. If we do it in multiple ways means, first way is average intern in item correlation. Let me explain that. You have 50 items in your scale. Okay, you will use all the 50 items. Okay, we will try to correlate first item with second item, first item with the third item, first item with fourth item, like that. All the 50s we will correlate whether they are measuring the same. This is a statistical calculation. You have analysis tool available for this in SPSSR or Jamovi, wherever you can have this method. Average inter item correlations. That means correlating one item with all other items. So first item should correlate with all 49 items. Second item should correlate with all other 49 items. Like that, you will do this and compare the correlation value. And if you get a significant value, yes, your questionnaire is well and good in what is this called as internal consistency. Next method that you use, you will divide the questionnaire as I said 50 question, now divide it as 25. Okay, now compare first 25 set with second 25 set, the same correlation. See, I have put it as diagram itself. You can have the Venn diagram also. If it is correlating, first half correlates with second half and second half correlates with first half, then very good, your instrument is good in internal consistency with split half reliability method. You'll have a value for that. Okay, you'll get the value when you do it in the statistical method. And another method that we use is, this is the common thing that we use, Cronbach alpha. Okay, when you do that internal consistency with split half method, when you do that correlation, you will get a value which is called as correlation coefficient value or Cronbach alpha coefficient value. That is mathematical, which is done using mathematical method or statistical method, and you have the various tools available, and you will get a value which is called as alpha, Cronbach alpha, that should be greater than 0.8. 8 or 0.8 is a value which is a valid value, that it has got higher internal consistency. You need to do this for your questionnaire to be more reliable. Okay, if you check existing any questionnaire that is available in the market, everyone would have done that validity or reliability scales, and they will be writing in the alpha value is this much, they will be writing. Check the manual properly. You will have all the existing questionnaire will have the alpha value or their validity methods, they would have described it. Okay, reliability coefficient of this much alpha, they will be saying this. So you need to have, you can use any methods for internal consistency. It can be average intern item correlation, it can be split half, or it can be Cronbach alpha value, which is a correlation coefficient value, we call it as. This is done using statistical tool. Manually also people used to calculate, but nowadays many tools are available. You can make use of any tools, and only confirming these standards, we can come to a conclusion that our questionnaire is standardized. So any question, psychometric questionnaire, right from the beginning that we started off, is actually nothing but, what is a questionnaire? Is a standardized scientific instrument which helps you to measure all the things, whether mental capabilities or whatever that you are measuring related to your research. It should be statistical method should be used, And you need to be very clear of, yes, I can use this questionnaire. This is having a clear objective and it is reliable and valid. Okay.